From the octagon fire to the studio mics, tune in weekly, we're dropping the spikes, analyzing every punch, every kick that lands. Maniacs in the game, playing with fans' demands. Ken's got the insight, Joe's got the flair, mapping out the fights will take you anywhere. So grab your popcorn, buckle up tight.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
What's up? What's up? Back again after a week hiatus. MMAniacs podcast, joined as always by my buddy the bearded Packer fan, Ken. Forgot to change his tag today.
Hey, I'm half dead here, so we got a combo going on.
So a lot of big stuff happening since our last show. We'll talk about, of course, the Aspinall-Cyril Gahn fight, and what a disappointment that was. I mean, I'm eating my kids' Halloween candy right now. So we kind of expected it to be disappointing, right?
Yeah, but not for the way that it ended up being disappointing.
Right. And that disappointment actually, there's more than one facet to the disappointment, right? So we'll get into that. We expected it to be disappointing because we expected Aspinall to just absolutely dominate.
Yep.
Right? So he gets poked in the eye. Did you see the eye poke?
Yeah, I saw it, and I ended up watching it in slow-mo and zoomed in from a couple of angles. And the eye poke itself, to me, didn't look super devastating like I've seen worse ones. But the fact that it dragged across his eye, I think, is what kind of fucked it.
That's interesting that you say that. Because when I saw the slow-mo, what I saw was the original eye poke. Like, when it first touched his eyes, I agree with you. It didn't seem like the worst poke you've ever seen, right? Like, but in that slow-mo, you can see that as soon as Gahn makes contact with the eyes, it's like he pauses for a half second, and then he digs his fingers even deeper into the eye. I mean, that the thing now, people are talking about the right eye versus the left eye, right? He legit was buried to the first knuckle in his left eye. We saw that. Like, he was massaging his brain, dude. But it's the right eye that gave Aspinall problems, right? Now, that's already disappointing that Aspinall couldn't continue. Let's just get this out of the way right now. Anybody that's saying Tom Aspinall quit is a fucking idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, go back.
The fight wasn't going the way that he probably figured himself up till that point, but there was still a hell of a lot of fight left.
Look, dude. Anyone who's never been in a fight, it's easy to say, like, oh, he should have continued, you know? I get the image of these dudes, like, sitting in their lazy boys with, like, a bag of Cheetos and, like, Cheeto dust on their fingers, like, if that was me, I would have continued. No, the fuck you wouldn't, bro. No, the fuck you wouldn't. Because first of all, you would have been gassed out 30 seconds into the fight. Like, gassed. I mean, like literally having a coronary, they got to come put a fucking oxygen mask on you, dude. Right? Like, fighting is hard, dude. It's even just jujitsu, like just sparring is hard, dude, because you're exerting yourself physically 100%, dude. And it takes time to build up the cardio that's necessary to even just last a round, let alone to be good in a round, to, like, you know what I mean? To have cardio to spare.
Mm-hmm.
But I do agree with you, though, that the fight wasn't going the way Aspinall was expecting. Cyril Gahn looked really good. He was hitting those jabs. He busted Tom's nose, which a bloody nose is It's a bloody nose, man. Like, I get that it looks good on the scorecards, right?
And
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it does suck a bit for the breathing wise, just where you're not going to get as much oxygen because you got to fight it through the blood that's coming out. But it's not horrendous. It's not like his nose was broken and shattered to where he's breathing through a pinhole.
Exactly. A quick wipe with the towel and he would have been fine. Like, it wasn't just going to keep bleeding. But if Gon continued to bust that nose up with the jab, then it becomes a problem, right? Look, people are talking. Idiots are talking, saying that Tom quit because the fight wasn't going his way, so he took the easy way out. I want to get your opinion on that before I,
Yeah, I saw that right after the fight too. Is all these people sitting there saying, "Oh, he was getting his ass whooped, and he took it the quickest way out that he could." Because look, the eye poke wasn't even that devastating. This, that, and the other. But they're missing part of the fact. I'm not even gonna address the nonsense of, "Oh yeah, he's getting his ass kicked." Every round doesn't go your way. Every round doesn't go a fighter's way every fight. It's to me, that motion of the scraping is what made that a major thing to deal with. Because, yeah, you get poked in the eye. You can poke yourself in the eye. Yeah, it hurts, but you can relatively get through it to a degree.
Mhm.
Once you get any kind of scrape, that sumbitch burns like crazy. Eye open, closed, patch, whatever. That sumbitch is going to limit your ability.
Right. Now, the doctor did say, I feel like he could continue, right? And that's a part of the argument that they're making.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know what Tom Aspinall could see and couldn't see, number one, right? Number two, I want to address this argument of he was getting his ass whooped, right? Like, landing a couple jabs, in what world is that getting your ass whooped? I mean, if he had been knocked down and he was bloodied up and then he got poked and he quit, that's a different story, right? Then I would be like, okay, maybe there's something to that, in which case I would actually tout Tom Aspinall as being incredibly smart. Like, it's like in the WWE, right? You ever see like the heel champion when he starts getting his ass whooped and all of a sudden he just grabs his belt and goes and takes the count out loss, right? Because he holds on to the belt. Like, that's smart business, right? Is it cowardly? Yeah,
absolutely.
But you can call me a coward. Like, if I'm gonna sit there and throw away a champion's paycheck, right? The fact of the matter is, it's a foul. It's a serious foul. And the thing is that just because lots of guys choose to continue after being fouled that way,
doesn't mean
they're compromised the rest of the fight. And what ends up happening to those guys? Generally, they end up losing the fight, right? So yeah, you give them credit for being warriors and stuff, but it's not going to change until serious consequences are installed for these serious fouls, dude. Like, a kick in the nuts is a serious foul, and you might be able to take one kick in the nuts and it doesn't really hamper you. Like, it hurts like a motherfucker, but you can still move. But you get fouled 2 or 3 times, kicked in the balls, dude, by an MMA fighter. Tell me that's not going to affect your movement, not to mention your overall will to fight. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, one, you can sit there and you can take and get all pissed off over it and be all right. Multiple, I don't know too many people that are going to sit there and going to want to continue. Now, granted, there's some crazy bitches out there that would.
Yeah, dude. But after that first kick, the balls are already tender. Now you're kicking already tender balls, dude. Like, that shit is no joke. Let me tell you, like, I'm not an MMA fighter. I just train jiu-jitsu. But I've had knees like when a guy's trying to pass your guard and they try to cut your leg, right? and they drop a knee right into your ball sack, like, split the legs and wishbone you, dude, and just drop all their weight, a knee right onto your balls, dude. Let me tell you, if that happens once in a training session, you're like, oh, that really sucked. But okay, but twice, I've had it happen twice, and that second time is so much worse than the first. Oh my god, dude! Like it's
dude, I can tell you in a training session, you're getting one shot on the balls, and that's it. We're taking a fucking breather.
well, yeah, but see, that's the thing is, like, you get the breather, but it could happen at the first part of the training session and at the last part of the training session.
Yeah.
It's still there. It's still there, bro. Like, the balls are still not feeling great after the first one, and then you get caught a second time, right? Now we're talking about ball kicks. Now imagine eye pokes, dude. Like, to me, I know that it's kind of harsh and it's going to change a lot of scorecards, but I believe, unintentional or not, eye pokes should automatically be a point deduction. And I believe that if it's egregious enough, like, even if it's unintentional, like that Cyril Gahn eye poke, if you go back and you watch the replay and he digs his fingers in further into the eye, that should be an automatic disqualification. Like, yeah. I'm not saying that Cyril Gahn intended to dig his fingers deeper into the eye, but the fact is it happened. It's on videotape. Like, you can't mess with that, dude. It's just too dangerous. Yeah, I totally respect MMA. I respect MMA fighters. Like, jiu-jitsu is the closest you're going to get to that without actually getting punched in the face, right? So, but even that's not MMA. Like, you don't hear me sitting here saying that I'm a fighter and then this and that. Like, I don't fight. I train. I spar. Like, and accidents happen. Like, I've caught. You might think it's MMA sometimes, because I've caught full-on flush knees to the face, to the mouth. I've caught, I've had elbows in dug into my jaw and into my neck. In fact, that's like one of the guys I train with. That's one of his go-tos, man. Like, he loves that shit, and apparently he thinks I love that shit too, because he's always willing to give me more. Like, oh no, you need a little more forearm in the neck and in the jaw. Here you go, dude. Like, here, have another helping. But eye pokes, dude, it's just the reason that we have so many eye pokes is because there are no consequences. Like, you get a warning. The guy has to ball. He basically has to sack up and continue, or else he gets called a pussy, right? Like, he has to sack up and continue the fight compromised, and now you go on to win the fight, and all you got was a warning. Like, you're basically incentivized to eye poke. Mm-hmm. And it's, because what are the consequences, right? Like, to me, it's ridiculous.
See, I can agree with you on a lot of it. Some of the unintentional stuff, like, you're grappling something like that and you happen to catch an eye poke in a scrum, I wouldn't go so hard against that. My issue would be these sons of bitches that are out here pawing like this right in your face. That even if it's unintentional to hit the guy in the eye, then I can agree with, yeah, you should be taking a point away at that point. It's kind of like how we see in the NFL. You kind of got to go overboard with the display of the rule to kind of set the tone initially.
Yeah, no, I you know what? That's a happy medium. I'm happy to go with that too. Like, if it's in a scrum and it's an accident and you can tell it's an accident, like, you get a stern warning. And also, it depends on how compromised the guy is. Like,
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
If the guy can't continue, then I think you should automatically be disqualified, or they should do like boxing when there's a technical, when there's a headbutt. If the first round, or depending on how far into the fight you are, you should deduct a point and then go to the scorecards. Like, that's fair to me, a technical decision, right? Mm-hmm. But these guys that are, like you said, are out here pawing like this, to me, that should be an automatic loss of a point. the first time you get caught doing it, even if you haven't poked the guy in the eye, it should be a stern warning. If you have your hand out there again, you should get a point taken, in my opinion.
I'm not against the hand pawing if it's at the actual hand, because an open hand it is a little easier to defend the small MMA gloves with. It's once you get into the face area is where I have the issue.
But that's the problem, is that when you have your hand out
backwards, don't have the issue. Like if it's like almost like a technical boxing match where you guys are almost perfectly at the end of each other's fist and you're grabbing his hand and that, I don't have an issue with that. It's when you're up close and you're pawing at the hand, but you're over in here with it.
See, but that's the thing, is like, how do you ref that? Like, so when a guy has his hand out like this, right, and the other guy charges in to try to throw a punch, your first reaction when somebody comes at you is going to be to push that hand out to try to stop them. It's human reflex, right? And that's when you get those fingers into the eyes, dude. And so for me, like, I feel like if you want to put a stop to it, you have to be super hard on it, dude. You have to basically, it's going to suck for some fighters in the, oh man. Yeah, that sucks. But you know, yeah, it's going to suck for some fighters who like to paw, right? They're going to lose some fights because of it. But eventually, guess what? They're going to train to not do that anymore, and then you're going to get fair fights. Like, there's guys who have made their careers on eye poking, you know, like John Jones.
It just so happens, did you see he came out and almost took credit for the Cyril Gahn eye poke, saying that, oh, he learned from the master or something to that effect?
Yeah. And also, I hate to say this because he was one of my favorites, but Daniel Cormier, he was another. And I think he learned it from John Jones. Like, Daniel Cormier was another one. Like, if you go back and watch that first fight with Stipe, he literally won because of an eye poke. Like, he poked Stipe in the eyes, and then Stipe goes like this, and then he gets caught with that combo, and he's down, and he's out. Like, and go back and count how many times Stipe got eye poked in that trilogy. Daniel Cormier used that same technique, dude, and it sucks, but I can't really blame the fighters because they know it's like, you're going to take every advantage you can in a fight. And if you're not getting deducted a point for it, if I get to compromise this guy for the rest of the fight and I'm only going to get a warning, then why not? Fuck. We're talking about a win and a loss here. The difference between a win and a loss is a difference in hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially, especially in title fights, right? So am I going to choose to be honorable and not poke this guy in the eyes and lose out on hundreds of thousands of dollars? Maybe if you're just a super honorable cat like a GSP or somebody, but most guys, no, dude. If you're put it this way, if you're fighting for 20 show and 20 win, you know what I mean? Like, you need that win bonus, bro.
Yep.
You need that extra 20,000. So if I'm going to get a warning, I'm going to poke the fuck out of your eye, dude. Like, you know, if all I'm going to get is a warning, like, and that's the problem, is that it's been incentivized. Like, I really think something needs to be done about it. And dude, I'm just so tired of listening to these freaking couch warriors talk about how Tom is a quitter and this and that. Like, I'm not. First of all, it was the first round, right? Like, that. The only thing that first round showed me was that the fight was going to go longer than we expected, right? Yep. Like, Cyril came to fight, and it wasn't going to be just a let's pack it up and go home in the first round kind of fight. Like, Tom was in for an actual fight. So I say definitely run it back, but I hope that the referee in the next fight is paying more attention for eye pokes, and I hope he actually takes a point if it happens.
Or we just finally say fuck it and put swimming goggles on these fighters.
I mean, so there was that, right? And then, you know, my girl Verna lost, man. Like, even though that fight was a good overall fight, And I guess like I'm not gonna bitch about the decision, because Dern did land a lot of good shots from the bottom. Like she landed more from the bottom when Verna would take her down. Verna got the worst of it. But I felt like Verna landed the more effective shots in the fight, in the stand-up game. Um, I felt like she landed the more effective shots, but I'm not going to bitch about a 48-47. One of the judges, though, had it 49-46 Dern, and that just told me all I needed to know. Like, they were going to put that belt on Mackenzie Dern no matter what. Because, and this is not me being a fan of Verna. This is me being an objective MMA fan as much as possible, trying to take my own bias out of it. Anybody who watched that fight, I don't see how anybody could have a 49-46 either way. Like 4 rounds to 1, that fight was much closer than that. A 48-47, okay. Like you even hearing me say 48-47 Dern, okay.
Mhm.
Like it depends on what you're scoring, right? Like she did land a lot. She landed a lot better from the bottom, which I think was a surprise for Verna. Verna was getting pieced up every time she would take her down. She's getting these hammer back fists in the mouth, and it's like she's not throwing back. She's not ground and pounding. And so if that's what won her the fight, because we saw a fight earlier on that card where the same thing happened with Volkov, right? Like Volkov was on the bottom, but he was landing more. The Almeida versus Volkov fight, right?
Yeah, I unfortunately didn't get to see anything besides the main event because I'm sitting there thinking it's at the normal time, the fight. It's going to be 10 p.m. on the East, and I'm sitting there scrolling Facebook and I see it started at 2. What?
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, I saw that beforehand because I was making plans to have a fight party. Then I saw that it started at 11 a.m. and I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm just watching the fights by myself. But, it was overall, it was a bit of a.
Though one of the things that I happened to see, I'm pretty sure it was from then because that's when I started seeing it. Did you see the freaking slam? I didn't see exactly how it was, but the slam where he grabs the guy by the chin and just buries him into the freaking mat.
No.
Okay,
no, I didn't see it. That might have been on the prelims.
Yeah.
I didn't see that, but that card was it was all right. It was definitely it fizzled out in the main event. The Dern versus Jandarova fight was good. It looks like Tatiana Suarez will be fighting Mackenzie Dern next for the 115 belt. That should be an interesting fight. They're going to rebook Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane most likely. So we'll see what happens there. We got another card coming up in a week. This is the card we've been talking about, Zhang and Valentina, but also Islam and Jack Della Maddalena, right? Like 2 really banger fights. We'll get to that card in a second, but I don't know if you've been watching the news the last few days, but there's some huge news in the MMA world about fight fixing, especially in the UFC. And apparently the FBI is investigating, and they're interested in auditing all of referee Jason Herzog's fights.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I'm not going to speculate on whether or not like he's involved in something, but I just find it interesting that they singled out Jason Herzog as a referee and they want to look at all of his fights. Like, it's not, hey, we want to look at all the fights from this particular camp, or we want to look at all the fights under this particular manager. It's, we want to look at all the fights of this particular referee. I find that interesting.
Mm-hmm. And especially with it coming on the heels of the FBI just going after the NBA for their scandal there with it, that it kind of seems like they might have a little bit of a lead there. If you're going straight from the NBA now to the UFC, that this wouldn't be the first time that fight fixing has been brought up on this podcast. We have wondered it a couple of times with some of these fights ourselves, especially being old time boxing fans, where we knew that shit was rigged.
I mean, if anybody who grew up on boxing understands that fight fixing is a part of the game, dude. It always has been. It always will be. It's unfortunate. The only thing that changes is the players. Like in the 50s, it was the mafia. Now it's promoters, like shady promoters, and they buy off judges and they buy off referees. And there's no real separation between the judges and the referees and the promoters. Like they have these fancy dinners the night before the fight where the judges are sitting there next to the promoter. And dude, it's corrupt as hell. I don't think that there's going to be any big impact to the overall UFC. Like I don't think Dana White is going to be in any kind of trouble or anything like that. I think this is going to be mostly confined to the lower level fights. It's from what I've read so far, it's dealing with prelim fighters who have been offered to take dives, and anomalous betting, right? That's the main thing, is anomalous betting. Like you have this undercard prelim fight. It's like the second fight on the whole card out of 20 fights. So it's like, the arena is like 3/4 empty. You might have like the super, super hardcore fans that don't want to miss a single fight there. But somebody comes in and drops 10 grand on this guy in the second fight. And people are like, what the fuck? Like, what do you know that we don't know? Like, because nobody bets on those fights for like really that much, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what they're investigating, is like this anomalous betting on really obscure fights, right? Where maybe a guy has a secret injury, things like that. But the other interesting thing is, like, this is what I do think this is going to do, is it's going to put fighter pay in under an even bigger spotlight for Dana White.
Mm-hmm. Because, hey, you might not have as much of it. Granted, you're going to get some because people are tempted. They get into bad situations, all that type of shit. So it'll never fully go away. But you are going to have a lot of conversation about the perceived, I'm just going to say perceived because the people debate both ways, predatory contracts that Dana White has with these UFC fighters. Because UFC is making a lot of bank off of it, and a lot of people for a while have been bitching about what these fighters get.
I mean, dude, you're talking about like the undercard fighters, the prelim fighters, right? They're making 8K and 8K, show and win. Like, think about that. You train for 3 months for a fight, 4 months for a fight. You make 8,000 to show, 8,000 to win, right? So if you win, you get 16,000, right? Now you have to knock 30% off the top of that for taxes, right? So you're looking at 10 grand. Now you have to pay your camp, you have to pay your cornermen, your cutmen, and all those guys, right? That's another at least 30%, like of the original 15K, not the 10K, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at another 5. So you just made 5 grand for training 3 to 4 months. That averages out to like $1,250 a month of income, dude. And the UFC just cut your sponsors, right? So you're not allowed to have outside sponsors anymore. You can only wear the UFC's official Reebok fight gear. And if you're a lower level fighter, what's the bonus on that? $1,500 maybe to wear it.
Mm-hmm.
So you get what I'm saying? Like, you're busting your ass for 3 grand when it's all said and done. And then all of a sudden somebody comes along and says, hey, bro, if you just happen to get knocked out in the second round, it's worth an extra 10, 15 grand to you. I mean, granted, I don't think most fighters are going to take it, but there's going to be some who are like, shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the difference between eating top ramen for 3 months, So,
and especially with how we constantly keep seeing everything inflate in prices and all this to where these guys' money is stretching even less now. You're going to get some more guys that might have been, I'm not going to do it to, well, damn, I really want to make sure my kid can fucking eat. So one loss in professional MMA ain't that bad on your career.
Yeah. And, that's the thing. It's like you either start throwing fights or you start moving bricks for Chapo, dude. I mean, there's only a couple of choices, man.
I love it.
You grew up a boxing fan like I did. How many times did you hear about these up and coming boxers still working a regular day job while they're professional fighters still?
Yeah. I mean, Joe Smith Jr., he was a light heavyweight, and before he beat Bernard Hopkins a few years back, he was working as a construction worker to pay the bills, and then training in the evenings. And he finally made enough. He finally won enough fights to get himself into that position where he could fight for the light heavyweight title. He fought Bernard Hopkins and knocked him out of the ring, and he started making real money, and he could actually quit that job. And he eventually he made enough. I mean, he made money, but who knows how much money he has now? Like with the greedy promoters, with the your manager, with your trainer that wants 30%, like with taxes, and then be honest, like you were working construction a year ago. Now you just got a check for $1 million for a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're gonna go buy a Lambo, bro. Like, or you're gonna go get some jewelry. You're gonna get something, right? Like something to show for your troubles. So yeah, dude, fighter pay is going to be a huge issue going forward, pending this investigation, because the argument is going to be, Dana, you're paying fighters so low that they have to actually consider throwing fights just to survive.
Yeah, bro, that right there. You hit it right on the head, Joe. And what's going on, guys?
What's
Good
going
to talk
on,
to you
man?
guys.
Good to
Same
see
shit,
you, bud.
man. Good to talk to you guys. And you hit it right on the head, bro. That's the unfortunate. And me being an athlete, us being athletes and fighters and fans of this, we don't want to hear about guys throwing fights and stuff, but I can't knock a person because I don't know his financial situation. I don't know his family situation. So, it's a real slippery slope. It's real unfortunate. I think I said it when DraftKings and FanDuel came out. In the short run, cool. It was great. You know what I mean? I always gambled with a regular bookie, but I knew when DraftKings came out, I'm like, this is gonna be a bad idea, bro. And we're seeing it now with the NBA. Now we're seeing it with UFC. Who knows how deep this rabbit hole goes at this point? Who knows?
I mean, I think, Nick, we all know just how deep this rabbit hole goes. I think every professional sports league is involved in some way or another. I'm not saying the higher ups in that league, but every league has players that gamble illegally. Every league has players that shave points or fix games. Maybe not fix games all the way, but at least shave points.
At least shave points for sure.
At least shave points. I don't blame DraftKings, though. It's not DraftKings' fault. They're trying to provide a service. The problem is that when you provide that service, inevitably there's going to be people who are going to try to work the system. It's just the way it is. It's competitive sports. If you have an opportunity to take an advantage, you're going to take it, especially if you're about making money and you happen to know something, like you happen to know that this player A has a bad wrist, and so he's not going to put up 20 points this game. So you go in and say, oh, this dude's going to drop 8 points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you go and tell him, hey, bro, like, do me a favor, bank a couple. You know what I mean? Like, just airball a couple for me, and it's worth 50 grand to you. Like, even if you're rich, even if you're a professional basketball player who's making millions, dude, like an extra 50 grand is an extra 50 grand. You play 82 games a year. Like this one game in the grand scheme of things isn't really going to matter all that much. Now, granted, in boxing and in MMA, it's a little different because each fight is meaningful, right? You're not fighting 82 fights a year. You're fighting maybe 3 to 5 fights a year. If you're an undercard guy, you're fighting 5 fights a year. If you're a main event guy, you're fighting twice a year, maybe, right?
Yeah, 3
Those
max,
fights.
yeah.
So, but just imagine the money that's being bet on those fights,
Mm-hmm.
and
I
the
think
incentive there.
I think it may get to a point where I think it's a strong possibility that I don't know what they'll do for like the individual sports like boxing and UFC, but I think they may get to a point with the NBA and the NFL where you can't do player props, where you could bet on the game. I think it might get to a point where you could bet the outcome of the game, the over or the under, and
But you
that's it.
can't. You're taking
But
away
you
all the
can't
prop
bet on
bets.
Jackson Dart going 175 passing yards over, something like that. I think
Yeah.
they
So you're
might.
saying take away all the props.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to end up happening.
You know what? I don't think that's going to happen. There's so much money to be made there, and money makes the world go round, bro. Call me cynical, call me jaded. I
No,
don't think the betting
you're
is
right.
going to change at all.
You're right.
What I think is going to happen is the FBI is going to conduct their investigation. They're going to catch a couple of low-level players. They're going to absolutely fry them in the media and send them to jail, and then it's going to be back to business as usual because that's what makes money.
But did you hear what Brian Windhorst reported on a podcast? He said DraftKings picked up on the Terry Rozier thing. They got an abnormal amount of bets on him hitting the under, and they called the NBA about it, dude. And they told the NBA. And supposedly Brian Windhorst said they swept it under the rug and they let Terry Rozier fake an injury for the rest of the year. Now Congress knows, and Adam Silver has to go in front of Congress and answer these questions that they're going to ask him about that situation. Bro, this is going to get dicey for the NBA.
See, I don't think so, man. I think I think Adam Silver or whatever his name is, he's going to go and he's going to sit in front of Congress. He's going to say, no, there's no need to worry. It's all political theater, bro. When was the last time you saw somebody go sit in front of Congress and actually get in trouble for stealing from their constituents, for stealing from anyone, dude? Like it's not even a slap on the wrist, man. He basically the punishment is the hearing. Like he's going to go in there, he's going to get talked down to by a couple of senators. Like this is disgraceful. Oh, blah blah blah, and then he's going to walk out, go back to his $1 billion a year fucking salary, and the shit's just life goes on, bro. Like. And like I said, call me cynical, and I'm not, I'm not trying to like shit on your take, Nick. This is
I hear you. It's
this is
just
the
critical
cynical
opinion,
part
dog.
of me that just has seen this before, and they've done nothing to show me that this time is going to be any different than any other time. Is all I'm saying.
They're going to protect their money. I feel you, dog.
They're going to protect their money 100%. They're going to protect the sports because the sports are tremendous money makers. You'll get a few low-level sacrificial lambs that get they get roasted, but the big dogs will stay in the business. Nothing will change. But
let me ask you a question on if they find Chauncey Billups guilty, do you think the NBA will take him out of the Hall of Fame?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's all posturing, dude.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, they took him out of the Hall of Fame. Like, I mean, I get it. Yeah, it sucks. Like you had a Hall of Fame career, now you're out of the Hall of Fame. But how do you take somebody out of the Hall of Fame for something they did after they were already retired? And you know what I mean? Unless you can prove that he was doing illegal things when he was playing, I don't see how you can do that. I mean, you could do it as sort of a punishment now for it's like, oh, we're going to punish you now for what you did by totally discrediting everything you did before you did this. But the punishment doesn't really fit the crime in that sense. Like if you're going to say like we're going to fire you and we're going to blackball you, like you can no longer ever coach in the NBA again. Okay, that seems fair, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey,
But
am I?
I'm not saying,
Would
and
I
I'm
be
not,
crazy?
to be
Would I be
fair, I'm
crazy if
not
I?
saying that they won't, Nick. I'm not saying that they won't
No, I
take him
hear
out of
you.
the Hall of Fame. They could, because they could say this does not represent the values that the NBA stands for. It's despicable, and like they could do that, and they
Great
might.
Richard Nixon impression.
Actually, it's Bill Burr. It's when Bill Burr talks about like how
Oh,
congressmen get
about
up there and
the
they're like,
fight, right?
"That's
Oh yeah, it's
despicable,"
despicable. I
and
love
they do
it.
absolutely nothing about it, right? It's
When he
just
talked about the
grandstanding.
malice in the palace, that's awesome, Joe. I love you for bringing that
Yeah,
up,
dude, it's
bro.
like, oh, Bill Burr has become quite a bit of a lefty lately, but I like old Bill Burr. Like,
Old Bill
give me
Burr was
give me old
awesome.
misogynistic Bill Burr. I'm with
Hey,
it, dude.
I gotta say something. Is it just me? The fight card for UFC 322, super underrated, bro.
We're actually about to go through that right now. So,
Super
um,
underrated card, bro.
well, let's go through the card and then we'll talk about if it's underrated because I feel like the two main events are definitely not underrated. I feel like
Yes.
they're fights that we've been waiting for and they're going to be absolute bangers. But let's go
Sean
through the
Brady,
rest of the
Michael
card.
Morales, fire, bro,
Well,
fire. That's a
like I said, let's
fire
go let's
fight.
go through let's go through the card fight by fight, right? We'll start at the bottom of the main card. Ken, what's the first fight on the main card?
You got Durish versus Saint Denis.
Durish?
Yeah, or yeah.
Benil Darush.
Oh,
Oh,
Dariush, Benil Dariush versus Benoit Saint Denis. Okay, that's a
That's
good
a good
fight.
fight.
That's a
That's a
good
really
fight.
good fight. Hell yeah.
I mean, that the interesting thing about that is like Dariush has been knocked out before trying to like, and Benoit Saint Denis got hands, bro. Like I'm leaning Benoit on that one. I'm leaning Saint Denis on that one by knockout, but it should be an entertaining fight. And they're in the top 15, but they're not in the top 10, right? Ken?
Hold on, let me check.
I know
I gotta go
Benoit's
with
not in
Saint
the top
Denis.
10.
He was
Saint
impressive
Denis,
against Hoofy, bro. He was really good against Hoofy. That was a really good fight he put on his.
yeah, and dude, that totally
He was
killed my whole
impressive.
vibe too, because I was really on the fighting nerds, and I'm like, they've had a rough patch the last couple months, dude.
Benoit's 13 and Benel is 9.
Okay, so Dariush is in the top 10. So this is a good opportunity for Benoit to crack that top 10 again. That's an entertaining fight. What's the next fight?
It is Leon Edwards versus Carlos
Prates.
Oh, Leon Edwards and Carlos Prates. So
That's a good fight.
Prates is also part of the Fighting Nerds, isn't he? I believe he is. Yeah, I believe he is. And Leon, former champion, he's sort of on the decline. But he's still a good fighter. He's on the decline for sure. I mean, rightfully so. How old is Leon now? Leon's got to be like 37, 38 years old. Like,
Yeah.
No, he's 34.
really?
Yep.
Wow. Well, he's got a lot of miles on him, dude. He's been fighting for a good while. I'm surprised to hear that he's 34 because generally, like guys, from welterweight up, they can fight really well up into their late 30s. Like 38, 36, 37, 38, they can still be effective. But he's already it seems to me he's already kind of on his downward slide. Luckily for him, he knocked out Usman, won the belt, defended the belt against Usman in the return fight. That really solidified his legacy for me. But Prates is a dangerous fighter. Prates is coming off a huge knockout win. I think actually Prates was one that remember a couple cards ago that spinning elbow knockout. I think that was Prates was one of those spinning back elbow knockouts. So I don't think he's going to be able to do that against Leon. Leon's a very crafty fighter. What do you think about that fight, Nick?
I think, like you said, Leon's craftiness. The age factor is something I have to consider. I think Leon's in great shape, so I'd still give the edge to Leon. I feel like,
Okay.
um, until Leon gives me a reason not to. I feel even though he's not a champion anymore, I still think obviously you never, in the great words of Rudy Tomjanovich, you never ever underestimate the heart of a champion. Um, Maybe the bro's probably looking at it like, hey man, you win this fight, put on a good showing. Maybe he's trying to get a resurgence back into that title bout, and I think he's gonna try and really put an exclamation point on this fight, put the
Yeah.
world back on notice
I mean,
that
I'll tell
he's
you
still
what.
around.
I wouldn't. He doesn't really deserve it right now, but I
Yeah,
wouldn't be totally opposed to seeing Leon Edwards and Jack Della Maddalena fight. I think that would be an interesting fight.
yeah,
But he's got to earn it. He's got to win a couple of fights, and this it
absolutely.
starts
Yeah,
with
he'd have
Prodis,
to win a
right?
couple in a row. Yeah,
Yeah, so it starts with Prodis. I think that's an entertaining fight. What about you, Ken? What are you thinking on that one? Who are you going towards?
Yeah, Leon, I'm not too familiar with. I think I've maybe seen one of his fights since a lot of his fights happened in the gap when I wasn't watching. So recency bias, I'm gonna go protest there because of how devastating that elbow was. But
You've seen Leon. He fought Nate Diaz a couple years ago. Remember, and Nate clipped him in the fifth round, and he like almost finished him in the last minute. And then Leon knocked out Usman with the head kick. Like Usman was on that unstoppable run at welterweight, and
okay,
Leon
yeah,
knocked him
no,
out
I
with the head
remember
kick.
the head kick. I don't remember the Nate Diaz fight though.
Okay, well, yeah. So Leon
that's
knocked
the
him out with the
famous
head
meme
kick.
where Nate hit him with the two piece and he pointed at him. That's that
Yeah,
famous meme. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Nate two pieced him, and then he pointed at him like, I got
I
you, I
got your
got you.
ass. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Um, so yeah, that's going to be an interesting fight. And then you already mentioned Sean Brady versus Michael Morales.
Oh, bro, fight of the year potential, in my opinion. Potentially.
Well, break
Potentially.
it down for us then.
Bro, I'm a big fan of Michael Morales, bro. This kid is special, and Sean Brady's special too. That's why when I saw this fight when it was made, I was like, "Oh my god, this fight is gonna be incredible! I can't wait for it." Honestly, I can't wait for it. I know Islam's gonna fuck Jack up. I'm more anticipating this fight and the Zhang and Valentina fight because I know what.
Uh, that's- I mean, I was with you until you said, I know Islam is going to fuck Jack up. Like, that was like, I'm not so sure. Like,
Really?
I'm not so sure, bro. Like, Jack showed me something in that Bilal Muhammad fight, dude. Like, because Islam is going to go and do the same thing that Bilal tried to do. He's going to try to wrestle fuck him. And Jack went and trained with Craig Jones. I don't know if you know who Craig Jones is, but he's the guy who runs CJI, the Craig Jones in Invitational.
Yeah.
It's like the world famous no-gi grappling tournament. Craig Jones is an absolute monster at. You technically can't call it jujitsu because it's not in a gi, but it's jujitsu in spandex. It's jujitsu in well, yeah, because the rash guards are made of spandex. Like, it's jujitsu and rash guards. In Craig Jones is an absolute animal, dude, and he trained with Jack for that build up to that Bilal Muhammad fight, and Bilal just could not take Jack down. Like, Jack forced him to stay standing and fight with him and trade with him, and he got rocked at the end of the fight. Like, Bilal was getting fucked up. So, is Islam a better wrestler than Bilal? I mean, it's a question that could be asked.
Uh-huh.
Like, I
Well,
don't
I
think,
definitely think Islam's better standing than Bilal.
yeah, but that's not the question I asked. I said, is Islam a better wrestler than Bilal? Like, I'm not saying that he's not. I'm saying that that's a legit question to be asked. Like, Bilal is an absolute animal when it comes to the wrestling, dude. So, and Islam is an absolute animal too. So, who wins in a grappling match, Bilal or Islam?
Isn't this Islam's first fight at welterweight as well, right?
It is,
Yeah,
and
so
and you can rest
he's walking
assured
into new territory.
I would be willing to bet money that Jack Della Maddalena, as soon as he won that belt and he knew he was fighting Islam, he got on the phone with Craig Jones and he said, "Hey, Craig, I need you to come back down here and train because this motherfucker is going to try to wrestle fuck me too." Like,
Yep.
so, dude, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Islam wins that fight. I think. And I think it opens up interesting possibilities because Shavkat is coming back from his injury. He's looking for a fight in February. If Shavkat wins his fight, he should automatically get the next title shot because he was already supposed to get the next title shot. People have kind of forgotten about Shavkat because he's been injured, and there's been a lot of action. Like Sean Brady has really
He's badass, bro.
he's made
Shavkat
a
is
strong case.
badass.
He's made a strong case for why he deserves a title shot, right? So if Della Maddalena can get by Islam, him and Sean Brady sounds like a great fight, right?
Hell yeah. What?
But here's the thing. If Islam doesn't get by Jack, where does he go from here? Does he stay at welterweight?
Great. Joe, I was just about to ask you that. If Jack ends up winning this fight, what's next for Islam, bro?
There's
'Cause it's
only one
you
thing left for Islam.
Go
and
back down. You got to go
And Ken
back
is
down.
drooling over it right now because he knows Ken's been waiting for this. Ken, I don't want to steal your thunder. You go ahead and break it.
You want to know what's going to happen if fucking Islam doesn't win this? And what I still even happens if he does win this? He's going to end up going and facing Ilya, and he's not going to be able to run from him this time, and he's going to eat those 40-pound sledgehammers that Ilya has attached to his fucking arms.
You know what? I don't know, man. I'm going to say this. I think that's if he stays, that's logically what happens, right? That he's going to have to face Ilya. But if he loses at 170, I think there's a legit chance he hangs it up on the loss and says, "Hey, I set my legacy at lightweight. I tried to go up to welterweight. It didn't work out." If he stays, he has to come back down to 55, and then he's got to fight Ilya. But
so you're saying those running shoes that he's got on, he might lace them up real good.
I'm saying it wouldn't be the first time he laced up some running shoes, dude. Like, last time he had the benefit of the doubt of like, well, I set my legacy at lightweight. I want to move up. But this time, like, if he loses at welterweight and then doesn't go back down and handle business with Ilya, there's gonna be some rumblings, dude, about his overall testicular fortitude. Let's put it that way, dude. To quote the great Mick Foley. But no, I think Islam and Ilya is definitely a fight that needs to happen, and it should happen. But Ilya, he has a fairly tough fight coming up on his own. Like, he's fighting Paddy the Baddy, and I know that most of the world is thinking Ilya is just going to steamroll through Paddy. I don't think that's
Bad
the case.
matchup. Bad matchup. You know what they say? Matchups make fights. Paddy's a bad matchup for Ilya. I'm not saying Paddy's going to win.
Nick, hold on. Because I agree with you, but Ken's over there. He's got that look on his face.
No. I was waiting to see what you meant by bad matchup.
Yeah, and I'm going to let Nick explain that.
Yeah,
Nick, please explain, why is Paddy a bad matchup for Ilya?
Because Ilya is not that skilled in the wrestling jiu-jitsu style, and Paddy is stronger, and he has. I'm not gonna just say, "Oh, he's a dog" and everything, but if Paddy gets Ilya to the ground, bro, that's a problem for Ilya, bro. It's a problem. It's a bad problem too. This is one of those fights. I kid you not, fellas. Ilya needs to knock him out early. If this goes into the championship rounds, Paddy will have a legit chance of winning this fight. I kid you not. I mean it. And I'm a big Ilya fan. I think Ilya's a superstar. And I think, I love watching him fight, because I'm a boxing type myself. I love watching people let their hands go,
Mm-hmm.
But the further this fight goes on, I feel like Ilya will start wearing off and Paddy will be getting stronger because his corner will be telling him. Has Ilya even fought into the championship rounds yet?
I don't think so.
He hasn't even been tested yet. That's my point. No
Yeah.
one's tested him. No one's dragged him out into the deep waters of the late third, beginning in the championship rounds, fourth and fifth round. So it'll be real interesting for me how
If the fight
Ilya,
goes that far.
if it goes that far, how Ilya responds from it, because that's uncharted territory for him. He won't know.
And see, there's one thing you didn't bring up, which I don't disagree with your take. I definitely think Patty presents a bad matchup for him. But I'm surprised that you didn't bring this aspect up, because this is one that I brought up 2 weeks ago. Patty is very long for lightweight. Like, he has long legs, he has long reach. And if I'm Patty, I'm going to kick the shit out of Ilya. Like, I'm going to use side kicks. I'm going to use front thrust kicks to the chest. I'm going to keep him he's not going to get within boxing
Striking distance,
distance with
yep.
me. I'm just going to leg kick him and side kick him and front, chest kick him and just keep him out there and just score points with my kicks until he gets so frustrated that he just charges me and tries to get me down. And then I'm going to jujitsu his ass up. That's what I'm going to do. Like, that's my game plan if I'm Patty the Batty. Will it work? I don't know. Is that Patty's game plan? I don't know. But I think it sure as fuck should be. Like, I don't want to sit there and spend any more time than I have to in boxing range with Ilya, dude. Like,
Fuck
I'm not going to
that.
sit there and
You're gonna
trade
go night
punches.
night.
I'm not going to sit there and try to be slick and get combinations off and then get out before I get caught. No, I'm not even going to give him the opportunity to touch me. I'm going to literally use my long ass legs, because one thing about Ilya, he's short.
Mm-hmm.
He's short and he has short, very compact arms, dude. Like he doesn't have crazy reach for the division, dude. And he's actually small for 55. Like, I mean, he can fight there, and his power definitely carries there. But I'm talking about his physical body. When you got guys like Patty cuts ridiculous amounts of weight to make 55, dude. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
I've
can
seen
you
the videos of him.
Can pull up the
He
tail of the
balloons
tape?
up after a fight.
Ken, pull up the tail of the tape for that fight real quick, please.
Yeah, hold on one second.
Because I really want to see what the reach advantage is, what the height advantage is, those kind of things. Because I really believe that's Patty's key to victory, is to stay long and use your length to keep him from getting in boxing range, and then force him to come to you and try to take you down. You know, like I thought Patty did a really good job of that with Chandler, because he knew that Chandler can punch. And so if you go back and watch that fight, he did a good job with knees and kicks, keeping Chandler at the distance of his feet rather than getting in boxing range with him too much.
Okay. No. Let's see if I can get the tape this way.
We're almost out of time. We'll have to put it. We'll do it next week. We didn't even get to talk about Zhang and Valentina, but luckily we have another week before the fight, so we'll get one more show.
I got it right here, real quick, Joe. So,
Yeah, go for
height. Patty's 178 centimeters. Ilya is 170. Weight. Patty's 70 kilograms. Ilya 66. And reach. Patty has a full 10-centimeter reach advantage. 185 to 175.
So that's 4 inches in reach.
Yeah. The tail of the table I got to scrap up real quick was in centimeters.
I wish it was in
kilograms.
inches rather than in centimeters, but 2.5 centimeters is an inch. So, yeah, 2.5 centimeters I think is an inch. So basically, he's got 4 inches in reach. He's got 170.
He's got about 4 inches in height.
4 inches in height. 3 inches maybe in height. So he's definitely has a reach advantage, and I would put that to use. But we're out of time. We got to go, guys.
Pleasure, fellas.
We want to thank you for joining us, Nick.
Love.
Come back next week and we'll break down Zhang and Valentina. We'll see you guys next week. Ken, you got anything before we go?
Nope. We'll see y'all next week. Thanks for watching.
Yo, it's game time, ain't no messing around. Huddle Sports Network.